and welcome to the Content Bite, a podcast for freelancers who use their words to make money. I'm Rachel Smith, a freelance journalist, copywriter, and content producer. I'm also the founder of Rachel's List, a jobs board and community for Australian writers and other creatives.
And I'm Lynne Testoni. I'm a journalist and a content writer as well. Rachel and I are your weekly co-hosts, and every week we're bringing you all kinds of tips, tricks, and some fabulous guests to help you make the most of your freelance business. This podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Rounded, easy accounting and invoicing software made just for Australian freelancers and sole traders. It's everything you need to make freelancing easier. Find out more at rounded.com.au.
Also, if you're a gold member of Rachel's List, Rounded is giving you 20% off an annual subscription plan. Upgrade to gold membership for all the details.
Hi, Rach. Lovely to see you again. It's been a big week.
Yes.
We've got an exciting project we're working on, which is wonderful, but it's keeping us busy.
Yes, we are really close to announcing the big news. I know that the word is sort of a little bit out there, but we are not quite ready yet. Watch this space. But in the meantime, we've got another fabulous guest on. Why don't you do the intro this time?
I'd love to. Thanks. So I'm thrilled to introduce our guest this week. It's Erin Huckle from Chuckle Communications. I've always loved that name, Erin.
I love that name. Oh my God, so cute.
Erin Huckle is in the business of raising the profiles of business and leaders through proactive PR, amazing award entries, and compelling written content. After 20 years in PR, writing, and communications, Erin is now an award-winning award writer. I like that. Who loves helping clients claim their place in the spotlight. With a career that includes roles in the UK and Australia, Erin has worked in publishing, tourism, events, and technology, and loves being her own boss from her little base in Wollongong. Welcome, Erin.
Amazing to have you, Erin.
Thanks so much for having me.
So tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your recent change of direction. You're kind of going more in a direction of award writing.
Yeah, it feels like it's happened quite naturally, this sort of evolution. I've always worked in PR and comms, and yeah, award writing has just sort of revealed itself over the last few years as, you know, that kind of unicorn of skills where there seem to be a lot of people who want it, not as many people maybe offering it. And again, the kind of service as a content writer or copywriter or journalist that you can actually charge a decent amount for because it's, you know, a really valuable thing to be offering clients. So yeah, it's kind of evolved fairly organically. Award winning and entering awards works really well as part of your overall PR strategy. So it's not completely removed from my main background, but yeah, it's going really well. And there are just so many awards out there to enter that it's almost like, you know, there seems to be an almost never ending tap of ability coming this way. So it's great.
What are some of the prizes or things that people win if they do get an award?
So it's mainly glory and recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally you'll get a little trophy if you're lucky, maybe a little framed certificate like the one on the wall behind me. But a lot of the time it's really just recognition. And it's a funny thing. I do feel that winning awards or even just entering awards and being nominated for something or being a finalist, it kind of gives you this halo of success that people seem quite drawn to. So I've had clients in the past and we've entered, you know, a number of awards and maybe they've never won, but they've been a finalist multiple times. And they talk about that in their profile on LinkedIn. They talk about it with their clients. They share it on their website. And people will say to them, oh, you seem to be winning things all the time, even though they actually aren't winning. It's just sort of, you know, they're seen as being in that sort of, winner's sphere, I guess. So I
love that. I love what you just said, the halo of success. That's really cool.
Yeah, I guess it's almost like a third party testimonial, isn't it? An endorsement from usually an industry body, I'd say, would it?
A lot of the time it's an industry body. I mean, I will say that not all awards are created equal. So there's a lot of award programs out there and they are all run in different ways. And some come with a really big stamp of credibility and they're run by the industry body or they're run by some kind of national organization and they've got a strong history and really thorough process and, you know, really transparent judging, that kind of thing. Others are a little bit more maybe they're a bit newer and they're still working out the processes. Or sometimes it can feel a little bit like pay to play, I will say. So,
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, so it's a shame really, because it can kind of tarnish the whole idea of awards for the ones that are doing it in a really genuine way. But there are so many awards out there that are free to enter. So, cost doesn't have to be something that's off-putting. Some of them do charge an entry fee, but then, they explain why they charge that and what that fee is for. And now, having been on the sort of back end of helping run an award program last year, I can see how much work goes into them. And they're actually quite big productions to put on.
Yeah, for sure. So where do you find your clients or that are interested in this?
So for me, the first award I wrote was actually for someone here in Wollongong. So I'm based in the Illawarra, and, like everyone listening, you've got your local business groups and networks, and I'm in a local women in business group here in the Illawarra. And I just started my freelance business, and I went to a coffee morning kind of event and got chatting to someone, and she said, I really need someone to write my award entry for the local women in business awards that are happening soon. And I'd never done it, but I thought, well, I could do that. So I said, well, I could do that for you. So I did. And then she was really happy and went on to become an ongoing client for me. And then because I did that work for her, she referred me to other local people who needed help. So I started out writing entries for more local business awards that, needed support. And then from there, it was like, yeah, wow, there's a whole world out there of awards that you can enter. I've written awards, in the aged care space, building construction space, not-for-profits. Like, there are just so many different programs out there. I think any kind of business could find an award relevant to them. So yeah.
And do you have an award hit rate thing on like a chart on your wall or something where you give yourself a gold star if they were a finalist or won?
I should do
it's
that.
Such a nerdy loser thing that I would do, but
I love that idea. Little sticker system. A while ago I did work out I had like an 87% success rate in terms of getting people to either be finalists or winners.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of other writers have said to me that they're interested in entering this space, but they feel a bit daunted because of the pressure, because they feel like, but I don't write a good entry and then they don't win. But I learned kind of early on that it really does come down to the business at the end of the day. I think that, as the saying goes, you can't polish a, I think if you're going to help someone enter an award, you want to feel confident that they have a really worthy business. But at the end of the day, there is no guarantee, which is why it comes with so much, credential boosting, like you were saying, like the ultimate social proof, because there's no guarantee. So all you can do is really do your best to help them tell their story. So many people are just grateful to have someone else write it, because we all feel really cringy talking about how great we are, especially when it comes to answering award questions like, why should you win this award and what makes you an outstanding leader? That kind of thing can be quite hard to answer yourself. Yeah, there's sort of like that fear factor, but I also try and help people understand how to repurpose their award entries, so that if they are going to invest in having something written professionally, it's not just about winning the award. Like, it's great if you win the award, obviously, but often entries, you might be writing 5,000 words about your business over a number of questions. And at the end of that, you've got all this amazing content that you could repurpose. You could use it, to
website,
update your about page, share, bits and pieces from it on your LinkedIn. Like, there are just so many possibilities for that content. So that helps to take the pressure off a bit as well, I think. It's just not just about winning, although it's great when people win. Yeah.
Wow. I'm really interested to know how you kind of price those kinds of services. I'm guessing, you would factor in the meetings with the person, and you were mentioning off air that you were interviewing, potential award winner for a project that you're doing for them. I mean, is it like a project fee, or is it a word count? How does it work?
So I price as a project fee, and the hardest question I get asked is, a lot of people do contact me out of the blue and say, I've heard you write awards, how much does it cost? But unless I know which program they're entering, I can't really answer the question, because they're just so diverse. So some will literally have just a couple of short questions to answer. Others will be, 10 questions of 1,000 words each, and, really a big job. I don't price by hour or word. I work it out as a project fee, because that also includes, the briefing time, like we were talking about before we press record, it can take a few sessions of really in-depth conversations and asking questions, and especially if it's a client or a business I've not worked with before.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I have other businesses and clients who, I write many awards for them. So it becomes a really quick, seamless process because we've done so much of that foundational work. It's more a case of updating their entry with what's new for this year, or repurposing maybe a previous entry or in a different program and seeing what else we could recycle so that it's not starting from scratch.
Yeah. How interesting. I know you've freelanced for a while, so tell us about your freelance career at large. I mean, when did you start freelancing, and how's it been? Do you like it? What do you hate about it?
So I'm coming up to 4 years in business as a freelancer. So I started in 2019, and it was the well-told story of trying to find a job that worked around having a family. And we moved here from overseas. Actually, we were living in the UK for 6 years before we moved to Wollongong. So it was kind of a case of, okay, I've got 3 kids, a shift working husband. How can I make a job for myself that doesn't involve office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday? And it was kind of like, let's give this a go and see what happens. And I had very modest ambitions at first. I just wanted to cover the cost of my childcare and make it slightly work out as in our favor. And then as the business has grown, my obviously my yardstick for measuring success has changed a lot as well. But it's been really good. I mean, I really don't think there's anything I hate about it. I used to worry that I would miss being around people, but it's actually, there's just such a great sense of community. As you guys know, like there are so many amazing people out there you get to connect with and meet. And I also started my business, pre-pandemic, but the pandemic hit pretty soon after. So suddenly everyone was working from home and on Zoom anyway. So it wasn't an unusual thing to be making a living from your home office. So it's been really good. Yeah. Love being my own boss. Just wish I could pay myself holidays easier. That would be great.
I know. It's interesting because you're still surrounded by a lot of people. It's just very different, isn't it? A different kind of thing.
A different office.
Yeah, different kind of water cooler chat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think there's a secret of success in building a freelance career?
Oh, for me, it's really about, making every conversation count, which I know sounds really cheesy, but I think having the background I do working in PR, I'm quite happy to talk to people and tell them about what I do. And, we were talking off air about, meeting potential clients at the dog park and all the different ways that you can connect with people. But I think the secret is really just telling people what you're doing and not being shy to sort of own it. I think it's normal when you start. I mean, I definitely felt a little bit shy at first, to put myself out there and say I was a freelancer and, working out your pricing and all of that kind of thing. But as time's gone by, it's like, well, so many doors have opened through unexpected ways just because I've had a conversation with someone, not necessarily even in a work context, and it's led to something interesting. Or other times it has been in a work context. I'm kind of a rare creature in that I quite like networking events and going along to chatting to people. So I think it's about, getting clear on what you do and who you do it for, which is obviously key as well, like trying not to be everything to everyone. Although that said, as much as I am a specialist awards writer, I still do a whole lot of other things to pay the bills. So
I think we can relate to that. Yes.
Yes. Well, you've done some PR for Rachel's List, which was fantastic. So you're still sort of doing that kind of thing as well as the awards stuff.
Yeah.
And are you helping freelancers with their PR as well?
Yes, I have worked with a few other freelancers with their PR, which has been quite fun. And some of my main PR clients are solopreneurs, thought leaders who work on their own but have amazing expertise in their field. So I still do a lot of PR in that space where it's, getting them guest article contributions, for example, and then ghostwriting articles so that they can showcase their expertise. I really love that kind of work. And then I work with a few PR agencies as well as a subcontractor. So sometimes helping with the PR and the pitching, and other times helping with the writing of the articles for their clients. Yeah, so it's still a mix. Like I don't just do awards, but it does feel like they complement the PR side of things really well.
Yeah.
And then often once I've written an award for someone, because I do really get to sort of
get to understand their business,
get to understand the business, get to like ask them all those warts and all questions and really get but often they'll then come back to me because they know that I've gotten a really good understanding of their business, and they'll say, oh, you did a great job on that. We now need, a blog article, or could you help us update this page on our website, or whatever it might be. So yeah, it's nice to see that the business can evolve. And I still feel that ChatGPT can't write award entries. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like they're something that you really need to have a conversation with someone to understand in order to answer the question. That's what I'm telling myself anyway.
I think it's really interesting because a lot of freelance writers, will have to do, the letter of introduction to try and get clients and that sort of thing. Is your letter of introduction like having a calendar of awards and going to your clients and saying, hey, there's this cool award that I think you should enter? Is that sort of the way that you would pick up work?
Yeah, it does happen like that. You mentioned my award calendar. So a couple of years ago, I had an idea to create an award calendar for Australian award programs. There are so many out there, and for about 12 months it was just an idea, and I kept talking to people about it. Wouldn't that be great if there was a calendar where you could go and find awards that were coming up and check deadlines? And then I started working with an amazing VA and said, could you create this for me? And she helped me create this spreadsheet, which is now like my lead magnet on my website.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a live Google sheet that obviously is locked, but anyone can access once they join my mailing list. And we keep it updated in real time. A couple of times a week we'll be making changes to it as things go live. So that's been a really great resource. So yeah, I get some leads through that because I sort of talk about that as something that I have, and then people will contact me off the back of that
because they see an award and then they think, I need somebody to write it. This looks ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then other times, if I have worked with a client in the past, not necessarily on awards, maybe it's client that I've helped with something else, if I see an award program coming up, I'll sometimes I reach out to them and say, I think you'd be the perfect fit for this. Would you be interested in entering? If you would, I'd love to write the award on your behalf, and this is how much it would cost, kind of thing. Yeah. And I think it's a really kind of soft letter of introduction in a way. I feel like, who doesn't want to be told that they could be an award winner? It's kind of like a way of paying them a compliment while also saying, I could help you with that, And a lot of people would say, oh, I've never thought of entering, but actually that's a great idea. Or, oh, I didn't even know that was coming up. And yes, we've been thinking about entering that for a few years, but we almost always miss the deadline. It's been super helpful to clients. I'll sometimes send out, I've started being a bit more strategic with my email marketing as well. So kind of every few months I'll send out an email to my list, and it will have things like key deadlines coming up in the next few months, and tips on repurposing your award entries, or probably a link to this podcast talking about awards. So just sort of building that idea that I can help them with that.
How amazing. Wow.
So you mentioned that you have a VA. Do you use other contractors, or is it just you, and how does that work?
So at the moment, Amanda, my VA, is my main sort of sidekick.
Yes.
End of last year, I started talking to a few other writers who I know who are keen to get into this space about doing subcontracting work for me. And that's still an ongoing conversation. I'm just sort of trying to get to that point of having enough volume, I guess, to then justify, potentially getting some people to help, and I guess working out how that would look. So my current idea is that maybe we would do the interview with the business entering the award together, and then they would write the first draft, and then I would finesse it before we finalize it. Just working out how to say yes to more people who want help with award writing, because there was definitely a point last year where so many people were asking me and I was having to turn them away, which I know is a nice problem to have, but it would be nice to be able to still be able to help them in some way. And then I am connected to a few other great award writers who will refer work to each other if we know that,
you're overloaded.
Yeah. But I am really keen to help more people get into this space because, like I said, I feel like, I mean, on that award calendar we've created, we've got over 100 award programs and it's growing all the time. So there are so many awards out there. I don't think there's a shortage of potential work for people who want to give it a go. And I think journalists make great award writers because they're great at asking questions. And that really is what it can come down to a lot of the time, is really, knowing which questions to ask, really listening to what people are saying and then turning that into some really compelling, almost storytelling around that business so that they stand out when the judges are reading their entry, because judges are people too, and they like to read interesting entries and not just read stats on a page.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it very different to kind of doing grant writing? Have you done a bit of that as well?
There's definitely a bit of crossover. So I do some grant writing as well. And it's similar in that it really comes down to answering the question and not just saying what you want to say, because I think that's where some people come unstuck, is they have their sort of ideas of what they want to tell people, but they're not actually answering the question. And same goes with grants. Similarly with awards, not everyone is eligible to apply for every grant, and not everyone is eligible to apply for every award. Saving people from wasting time by being honest with them and saying, this actually is only for businesses who've been going for at least 5 years, and you've just told me you launched in 2020, those kinds of things, being able to quite quickly identify what's going to work and what's not. But there is definitely some crossover, and I'm actually in the middle of writing a number of grants this week for a nonprofit that I do some work for. So yeah, there is definitely crossover, but I'll be honest, I enjoy the award writing a little bit more because it just feels like a bit more of a celebration of success.
Yep.
You win the grant and get the project off the ground, then you can enter them an award. So
Amazing. We do love to ask everybody, as you would know, I think you're a regular listener to the podcast, so you'd know that we ask people about their favorite tools and, online services and things like that. Have you got anything that you would really be lost without?
Yeah, so when it comes to my award writing, I use Otter as my transcript service, which I know has come up before. But yeah, I realized quite quickly that, I either record through Zoom or, record through Otter, but I can't really actively listen and take notes at the same time. It just doesn't really work. So, and it's really helpful for me to just get people in flow and talking about their business and be able to ask questions and capture all of that. So I do find Otter is great for that. I know there are other tools out there, but that's the one I use at the moment. All of the different award programs use different portals.
Oh, really?
Some of them use the same kind of base portal. So once you've entered one, you kind of go in and you think, oh yeah, this looks familiar. I think it's called some kind of award platform. But so yeah, that's quite useful. Once you've done one of those, you kind of know the process. And I do sometimes, especially when I was starting out and I was really trying to over deliver for my clients, I would offer to submit the award on their behalf as well, if they were comfortable with me doing that, which again, if they're time poor and they're just really happy to know that it's being dealt with, then that works too. And I still do that for some clients. But yeah, it's mainly Otter, Zoom for recording the meetings, Trello just to keep a track of everything that's happening. That's my kind of project management tool of choice. Yeah, and obviously the Chuckle Communications Award calendar, which
yes, I think that's such a clever lead magnet. I can
really
see
clever.
It is really clever because it's it really ties in well with your business. It's really useful for your clients, but I can see how it would bring work to you as well.
I feel like it's solving a problem, which is why I'm quite happy with it, because I played around with other ideas and I was thinking, what do I do? Like a top tips for entering awards or something, but it felt like that had all been kind of covered quite well already. Yeah, but it's kind of, I guess, a bit like this interview we're doing today. It's kind of given me a nice hook for my own profile raising and PR as well, in terms of when I'm trying to build my own profile, it's something that there are other people talking about it, but it's not as sort of saturated as other specialties, I guess.
Yeah. And have you found like kind of niching, we talk a bit about to niche or not to niche. Have you found it's really changed your business and helped you grow niching? Yeah,
it has. It really has, because I guess it just opens opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise been exposed to, while still not, like, I feel like it's the kind of niche that it doesn't close doors either, though, because I think
Yeah.
an award
It's
writer,
complementary to what you do.
yeah, so it's not like, well, I only know how to write awards, I wouldn't know how to write an article. You know, it's like, obviously I can still do both of those things.
Yeah.
I'm just experimenting with something new. I'm actually sponsoring an award program that's just gone live for this year, which is the Australian Rural Business Awards, which is run by the Spend With Us team.
Oh, great.
Because I really love supporting rural and regional businesses, because I'm from the bush myself, or the country myself originally. So
yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to sponsor this and help get the word out about the award program. And then in return, I'm sort of offering a service to the people who want to enter and don't have time to write their own entries. So we'll see how that works out. It's just a bit of an experiment to see if I can get some people taking me up on the service. So yeah, there are different things you can try. Yeah, it's kind of fun getting to know what's out there. And yeah, sometimes I even get invited to attend fancy award events with my clients when they're a finalist.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find out before the event that they're a winner, or do they tell you, or is it always a surprise?
It's pretty much always a surprise. I don't think I've definitely had a situation where someone was a finalist and they basically kept getting called by the organizers and saying, you should really come. And I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds like there might be a reason that they're really, really pushing for you to attend. But most of the time you don't know. And I guess post-COVID, it's just been a really nice, way to get back together with people in real life. And yeah, and some of the clients, I've never met them in person until we attend the award entry. But yeah, it's quite fun. And I also this year have, entered myself in the local Women in Business Awards again, because I think, well, it's nice to say I'm an award-winning award writer. So
yeah. Amazing. Nice. God, you better win. Have you won that already?
I was highly commended last year, so this is the year that I'm going to be the winner.
This is your year. Erin, it's your year. Amazing.
So much to think about. Thank you so much. I think, well, first of all, I'm going to go in and download your lead magnet.
Me too.
That sounds amazing. I'm sure you get a lot of people who are listening to the podcast who do that. Exactly. Yeah.
It's definitely grown my subscriber base, and like, it's not pretty. Like, don't go in there thinking it's going to look all fancy and shiny. It's literally just a spreadsheet, but it's got everything in there. So it does what it says on the tin.
Before you go, I just wanted to ask, is there anything else that's really important to mention about, someone who might be listening and thinking of entering an award, or on the flip side, looking at offering, award writing as a service?
Yeah, I think it really, I would just say if you're on the fence about entering or thinking about it, I just think just go for it, because you're definitely not going to win if you don't enter. And I think, it's one of those things, it can feel a bit like a nice to have, and, the icing on top, especially when you're really time poor and you're thinking, I want to be an award winner, but I just don't have time to enter. But I think the exercise of going through it, I always say to people, and especially other freelancers, if you are thinking about entering an award, it is such a great opportunity to reflect on what you've achieved in your business, whether that's in the last year or 2 years or since you started. And I don't think we get enough opportunities like that, especially as freelancers, when we're so busy doing work for our clients, marketing ourselves, developing our businesses, growing our pipelines, all those things. Like, how often do you actually get to sit and reflect and think about success? And it's also a really great chance to gather testimonials if you've been a bit slack in asking clients for feedback. It's a great sort of, I'm actually entering myself in an award and I'm looking for some positive feedback from past clients. That's a great way to sort of get back in their inbox and ask for that feedback if they've not given it to you yet. So yeah, I just think there's it's all positives, no negatives.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. It's really opened my eyes. I actually had to enter an award for a client once, and I really wish that I could just have handed it to someone like you. I didn't. I know it's not my niche, but I'm glad that there are people out there like you who, do it so well, because it is a really interesting area. So this has been quite an eye-opener for me. I don't know about you, Lynne.
Yes, no, I've done a few awards in, more as an adjunct to my core niche, because there's a lot of building and construction awards. And some of my clients, when I do a case study, they've asked me to turn it, in for an award or something. So it's like rewriting that original core material. I haven't done it the other way around, so it's really fascinating. Really,
it is so fascinating. I
Mm.
think this is going to be a really helpful and interesting episode for a lot of people, especially those who might want to broaden their freelance business, because it seems like there is work out there as well in that area. So tell us, Erin, where people can find you and, get your lead magnet. We'll put it all in the show notes.
So my website is chucklecommunications.com. So on the award page of that, you'll find the lead magnet. Or if you connect with me on LinkedIn, that's my platform of choice. And just look for Erin Huckle and I'll come up. And yeah, always open to new connections. Send me a message, send me an email, ask me a question. I often chat to other writers who are interested in entering this space and give them a few tips if that's helpful. So yeah. And then once I know you're doing it, I can refer work to you if I'm full. So yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're so generous. That's lovely, Erin. Thanks so much for being on the Content Bite. Finally, we're very happy to have had you.
Yeah. So that's the end of our show, but it's been so wonderful having you, Erin. I think we've learned so much and it's been really interesting. And so thanks to everyone listening and sharing us on social media. If you like the show, please leave us a rating, because you never know, that seems to help people find us.
And thank you again to our sponsors, Rounded, easy accounting and invoicing software made just for Australian freelancers and sole traders. You can find them at rounded.com.au. And we will see you next week.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.